Over the past week, Kwame Brown has been a popular name in the basketball community. Kwame has taken to YouTube to call out many of his critics, and while I'm not going to get into the specific details of these videos, I do want to provide some commentary on the criticism he's faced and how it's affected him. If you aren't familiar with this name, Kwame Brown was the first high schooler to be selected #1 overall when the Wizards drafted him back in 2001. While he didn't turn out to be the star that many thought he would become, Kwame still had a 13-year NBA career, acquiring generational wealth in the process. Again, he wasn't the player people expected him to be, but to say his career was a failure is just completely untrue. Unfortunately, Kwame has been mocked and scrutinized by countless media members and former players for over 20 years now. It's sad because there have been a number of players throughout NBA history that didn't live up to the hype, yet Kwame seems to be put down the most. This attitude is a prime example of mob mentality, and it shows that many people in this world will look to judge you before anything else. In today's video, I want to talk about the horrible situation that Kwame Brown was thrown into in Washington, and what I think he could have become had he started his career elsewhere.
Murray, inside, incredible!
LeBron James with no regard for human life.
They do have a timeout, decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown, bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
As a senior at Glenn Academy, Kwame Brown averaged 20.1 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 5.8 blocks per game. Due to his incredible play, Brown participated in the McDonald's All-American game, putting up a stat line of 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 blocks against the top high schoolers in the nation. It was clear that he was able to dominate high school competition, but according to Billy Donovan, Kwame wasn't entirely confident in his ability to transition to the NBA game. While Kwame was in high school, Donovan was the head coach of the Florida Gators, and he was so impressed with Kwame's play that he offered him a scholarship. In November of 2000, Kwame signed his letter of intent with Florida. However, his incredible senior season had him skyrocketing up draft boards. Realizing that he could be the first pick in the 2001 draft, Kwame decided to forego college and go straight to the NBA. Shortly after informing Donovan of his decision, Kwame had second thoughts, saying, "Coach, I don't want to do this. If I'm the #1 player taken, I know the expectations. I'm so far away from being the #1 pick, I'm not ready for this." On top of that, Kwame was worried about life as an NBA player and how he would adjust to living on his own. When reflecting on this conversation years later, Donovan explained that in his heart of hearts he really wanted to come to college. "I think he knew he was not ready, he had to go, he was really doing it for his family." From multiple articles that I've read, it seems like Kwame was a smart and selfless kid. As a teenager, Kwame felt like he wasn't ready for the NBA, but he also understood the risks of passing up on guaranteed money. In many of his YouTube videos, Kwame brings up the fact that he was able to buy his mom a house as a teenager, so it's clear that the financial security of his family meant a lot to him. To me, this is very admirable because he was willing to sacrifice his own happiness in order to help his family as soon as possible. Unfortunately, Kwame was extremely unlucky as he probably couldn't have ended up in a worse situation than he did with the Wizards. In order to understand how bad it was in Washington, I need to provide a bit of context first. In 2000, Michael Jordan became a part owner and president of basketball operations for the Washington Wizards. However, Jordan expressed interest in returning as a player in the summer of 2001, and as a result, Jordan wanted the team to make win-now moves. In a recent video of his, Kwame explained that the Wizards never drafted me with the intention of me staying a Washington Wizard. I was drafted in order to be traded for Elton Brand, so he could come to the Wizards so MJ could get into the playoffs and compete for a championship. At the time, Brand was a 22-year-old power forward that had averaged 20 points and 10 rebounds over the first 2 years of his career, so it made sense why Jordan wanted a proven player like Brand on the team. Unfortunately for MJ, the Wizards' majority owner Abe Pollin didn't approve of a Brown-Brand trade because the team had made several big trades over the past few seasons. Ultimately, Brand got moved to the Clippers and was named an All-Star during his first year with the team. That being said, Jordan was already upset that the Wizards didn't trade for the player he wanted, and things only got worse when he saw the immature side of a 19-year-old Kwame Brown. According to a book written by Michael Leahy, Jordan initially showed patience with Kwame even though he showed up to training camp out of shape. However, MJ began to grow tired of Brown's apparent cockiness. During one practice, Kwame challenged MJ to a one-on-one game, telling Michael, "You reach, I'll teach." Obviously, Jordan took that one personal, and he went on to destroy Kwame, mocking him as he easily scored on him time after time. On top of that, their head coach Doug Collins was not happy with Kwame either. When Kwame showed up to training camp out of shape, Collins started talking badly about Brown to the media. During training camp, Collins told the media, "I begged him this summer to understand what kind of condition you have to be in to play at this level, and he came in woefully out of shape, and he's trying to catch up at the wrong time." Collins would also joke about Brown to the media, saying things like, "He's in great shape to play a high school game." While Kwame may have tried to come across as confident at first, it's clear that he was not ready for that Washington situation. Like I said earlier, Kwame told Billy Donovan himself that he didn't feel prepared for the NBA game, the NBA lifestyle, as well as the expectations of being the #1 overall pick for Michael Jordan's team. He was a 19-year-old kid that wanted to play in college, but instead he was playing in the NBA while his idol, his head coach, and the media were all mocking him and tearing him down. When talking about his experience with Jordan and the Wizards, Kwame explained that it was pretty rough, but that's Michael Jordan, you deal with it, you learn you're a rookie and you're not going to get calls. But sometimes I felt all alone out there, like I was surrounded by sharks. On August 2nd, 2005, Brown's stint in Washington came to an end as he got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. After facing tons of criticism throughout the first 4 years of his career, things only began to snowball. In Kwame's first game back in Washington, the crowd booed him every time he touched the ball, and the media continued to clown him. Kwame ended up playing 2.5 seasons with the Lakers before he was eventually used as a piece in the Pau Gasol trade, and it was in this moment that Stephen A. Smith could no longer hold back.
First of all, understand something. When you're giving up first-round picks, if you are a quality team in playoff contention, it really doesn't mean that much. That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, Kwame Brown is gone. The City of Angels, Hollywood, just should be celebrated. Throw a parade already, whether you win a championship or not. This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. The man cannot play the game of basketball. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball. He's got bad feet. He can't really move, even though he's mobile. Doesn't really know what he's doing. Doesn't have a post move that he puts to memory that he can do 2 times in a row. He has no game whatsoever. Plays no defense. Doesn't have the heart, the passion, or anything that comes with it. And you're asking me whether they gave up too much? Please, the Los Angeles Lakers knew exactly what they were doing. They should be celebrating right now.
This video has been viewed by millions of people, and it really pushed the narrative that Kwame could do nothing right on the basketball court. Regardless of what Kwame did, people were always going to highlight his worst moments because of rants like this. From this point on, not much changed for Kwame. He continued to get laughed at by the media, bouncing around the league until he eventually got waived by the 76ers in 2013. So how good do I think Kwame Brown could have been had his career started with another franchise? Well, had the Wizards gone through with that Elton Brand trade and sent Kwame to Chicago, I think he could have been a lot better. With Washington and LA, Kwame was playing behind legends in Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, so he never really got the chance to develop. As soon as he entered the league, Kwame was given a limited role in offense, and looking back at some of his high school highlights, you can see that Kwame had a nice offensive skill set. Had he gone to the Bulls, he would have been going to a franchise that wanted him, he wouldn't have been scrutinized as much, and he would have been given more freedom on offense. Obviously, Kwame was not perfect. As I mentioned, he did seem to have some issues staying in shape, and he did show signs of immaturity, but I think he would have been a lot more confident playing in Chicago, and that would have made a big difference. Do I think Kwame would have been a star had he started off in Chicago? No, but I do think he could have had some seasons averaging 16 to 17 points and 8 or 9 rebounds a game. We can't be sure how the rest of his career would have gone, whether he would have stayed in Chicago, whether he would have been able to remain healthy, but we can't be sure that the perception of Kwame would have been a lot different. If Kwame had some good seasons and averaged something like 13 points and 8 rebounds for a career, he still would have been an underwhelming #1 overall pick, but people wouldn't be mocking him like they have for the past 20 years. All in all, this was an interesting hypothetical to look into. It helped me learn some new things about Kwame's career, and I hope you learned something new from watching this video as well. Feel free to let me know your opinions down in the comments below. I always love to hear what other people have to say. But with all that being said, that's going to be the end of today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.